What's up, you guys? This is Shayna, the Queen of Spades Baszler, and I'm here with Charlie. I have a YouTube channel that I don't use. Girl. So a lot of you guys commented, you saw on my story on the greatest day in history, which is the day of my birth, that I was doing, amongst other drills for the birthday celebration workout, we were doing a drill that was a reaction drill to throwing elbows, and I'm going to show you the application today. But what I wanted to go over first was how to throw this elbow. If I were to take my face, if I were to take this face and draw X's over it and a plus sign, we have that same design that we talked about before, angles on the ground. So you'll see that this kind of 8-pointed star is very applicable in all combat arts on each plane. So what that means is, in general, when I throw an elbow, if I throw a down elbow, I want it to glance the eyebrow of my opponent right here. So I want my elbow to hit right here. So in general, my elbow is the blade of my elbow is going to be opposite my thumb. So I want to take my thumb and paint where I want that elbow to hit. Okay, if I want it to hit the jaw, I'm going to paint and hit. If I want to go across the bridge of the nose, I'm going to paint and hit. Okay, so keeping that in mind, this particular elbow is in 3 steps. Charlie, have you ever been instructed in Thai boxing before?
By you and Jess?
Very minimally.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this. So this is just Ajahn Chai's way of breaking it down. It's going to be 3 steps. You're going to get in your fight stance. Go back and look at the stance video if you want to play around with that. But basically you're going to do this. On 1, you're going to throw your punch out. On 2, I'm going to retract my shoulder. I'm not going to bend my elbow. I'm just going to retract my shoulder back while I bring my foot in. Okay? So it's going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to step forward with that foot I just brought in and push my shoulder out as I throw the elbow. Okay? So let's do it.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Again.
Right.
1, 2, 3. And you say,
done. Knockout. KO.
what that applies to is if I'm throwing the jab at her face, one of the ways that she defends is to parry. So jab, throw your left hand. I'm just going to parry it off to the side. Okay? So she's going to be doing this. So if I'm throwing my jab and she's parrying, especially if she's over parrying like she is, I can feel this and step in. It's the same thing we just did. So it's going to go, bing. It's just a counter to her defense. Okay? So on the pads, a lot of times this is going to be a reflex. I've always talked about how these are just fractions of a moment. It's hard to think, man, she parried my jab. I'm going to retract and reaction elbow, okay? So I want to think about the reflex. So I'm just going to keep my hands up. She's going to put the mitts on top of my hands. So whichever one she taps is the one I'm going to throw my elbow. And I want to turn my hip and get my hip into it, but that's all for another video. So I could even close my eyes if I'm experienced enough at throwing elbows that I'm not going to pop her in the face, okay? This is just going to train this reaction that if we're fighting and she happens to parry my thing, I'm going to step in as a reflex and that elbow is going to come. Same thing with this side. She can be parrying this and I can go whoop, bang. Okay? The other thing I can do as a bonus is I can throw my punch as a feint and plan on throwing the elbow and get her to bite on the fake. So if I go like that, she reacts. See? And it could be that she's parrying, I could be seeing that, it could be that she's just covering it, whatever her reaction is. But the whole point of a feint is to get her to bite. So I could just go, just the 3 steps that I did, bang. And all she had to do was flinch, okay? So in slow-mo, it's the same 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, and it gets around on that. Okay, so play around with this. I know it's hard to play with elbows live. Pro tip, kids, children's volleyball knee pads work better as elbow pads than pads that are marketed as elbow pads. They don't slide off as much, I found in my experience. So little pro tip for you. What's up, you guys? This is Shayna, the Queen of Spades Baszler, and I'm here with Charlie. That's not on these ones.
Okay.
Pay attention to the product. It's only on the Pro Wrestling for MMA.